The courtroom fell silent as 8-year-old Emma walked through the wooden doors, her small hand gripping tightly to her father's prison uniform. Judge Richard Morrison had seen many cases in his 30 years on the bench, but nothing prepared him for what was about to unfold. Emma's father, David Harper, stood accused of theft, his orange jumpsuit a stark contrast to his daughter's pink dress that her grandmother had carefully ironed that morning. The prosecutor began his case with confidence, painting David as a career criminal who had broken into a wealthy businessman's home. But Emma stood firm beside her father, her chin raised despite the tears threatening to spill when the bailiff tried to separate them. Emma's voice rang out clear and strong across the courtroom. "Let go of my father and I'll make you walk." Laughter erupted from the gallery. The prosecutor smirked. Several jurors exchanged amused glances, and even the court reporter struggled to maintain her composure. How could this little girl possibly make such a claim? Judge Morrison raised his hand for silence, his eyes fixed on Emma with an intensity that made the room grow quiet. "Young lady," he said gently, "that's quite a promise." Emma reached into her small backpack and pulled out a worn notebook. "My father didn't steal anything," she said, her voice steady. Now he was fixing Mr. Patterson's wheelchair. The courtroom stirred with whispers. Emma continued, "My father is a medical equipment technician. 3 years ago, you came to our shop, Judge Morrison. You needed your mother's hospital bed repaired." The judge's expression shifted, a flicker of recognition crossing his weathered face. "My father worked on it for 2 days without charging you, because you told him your mother didn't have much time left." Richard Morrison's hand moved to his forehead as memories flooded back. "Emma," David whispered, "you don't have to do this." But his daughter pressed on. "Mr. Patterson called my father that night saying his wheelchair broke, and he couldn't get to his physical therapy. Dad went to help him." She opened her notebook, revealing pages of handwritten notes and photographs. But when Dad arrived, Mr. Patterson had already called the police because someone actually had broken in earlier. "They arrested my father instead." The prosecutor stood up. "Your Honor, this is highly irregular." "Let her speak," Judge Morrison said quietly. Emma walked toward the bench, her small footsteps echoing in the hushed room. "You've been in that wheelchair for 6 months, Judge Morrison." "My father told me about the accident that injured your spine." The courtroom gasped as the reality set in. Many had wondered why the judge had been absent, why a substitute had been handling most cases. "I've been studying everything my father taught me about medical equipment," Emma continued. "I found something in my research. There's a new treatment, a combination of therapy and adjustment that's helped people with injuries like yours." He handed the notebook to the bailiff, who brought it to the judge. Richard Morrison's hands trembled as he flipped through the pages. Detailed notes, medical articles, contact information for specialists, all compiled by an 8-year-old girl determined to save her father. "My father didn't steal," Emma said, her voice breaking. "Now he fixes things. He fixes people's equipment so they can live better lives. He barely makes enough money, but he never turns anyone away." David Harper's eyes filled with tears as his daughter fought for him with a courage he never knew she possessed. Judge Morrison closed the notebook slowly. When he looked up, his eyes were glistening. "Bailiff," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "bring me the case file on Mr. Patterson's break-in." 20 minutes later, after reviewing security footage that David's overworked public defender had never requested, the truth emerged clear as David had arrived after the actual burglary, and the timestamp proved it. The real thief had been caught 2 days later in an unrelated case. "Mr. Harper," Judge Morrison said, "I'm dismissing all charges. You're free to go." The courtroom erupted in applause as Emma ran into her father's arms. But Judge Morrison wasn't finished. He slowly, with great effort and visible pain, began to rise from his wheelchair. The room fell into stunned silence as he stood, gripping the bench for support, his legs shaking. "Emma," he said, his voice carrying across the courtroom, "you've given me something I thought I'd lost." Hope tears streamed down his face. "Your father raised a remarkable daughter. And you're right about one thing. You did make me walk." David held Emma close, both of them crying. "Now, thank you," the judge continued, "for reminding me what justice truly means. And thank you for showing me that sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths." 3 months later, Judge Morrison underwent the treatment Emma had researched. His recovery wasn't complete, But he could walk with assistance, and David Harper's small repair shop received an unexpected donation that allowed him to serve even more people in need. Emma kept her notebook, adding to it every day, dreaming of the day she might become a doctor who could help people just like her father did, because she learned that day in the courtroom that love, courage, and determination could move mountains, or in this case, make judges stand and innocent men walk free. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Leave a comment below about a time when someone's courage changed everything for you.